Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another inspiring episode of the CEO Show. Remember, this is a show that always comes to you every Tuesday from 7:30 to 9. And I'm always your host. This is a show that always brings you notable personalities from different industries, talk of business. And tonight you have one amazing guest, and this is an episode that you can't avoid to miss. Remember, we are coming to you live on Facebook, YouTube, and also TikTok Live. Remember to comment, share this particular episode for people to know that you're watching and to keep this conversation going. Just to go directly, before I introduce our guest, let us acknowledge who is part of this conversation tonight. And definitely, where you're watching us, make sure that you note us where you are watching us live, so that we can acknowledge your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a great show, and our guest tonight is none other but the founder of KECHEI Center, and also it's a restaurant, but other business. But tonight also, this is a notable personality in the sports industry, and this is a person that definitely you've been seeing her on your screen. Our guest tonight is none other but Joan Chelimo. She's going to talk about sports, talk about business, talk about investments, and not forgetting, is also the co-founder of T-Rock's Angels Foundation. We'll also be talking about GBVs. There have been issues in the recent times. What do you think? Welcome, Joan.
Thank you.
Yeah, how do you feel being part of this particular show?
I mean, it's amazing.
Okay.
I feel so good.
Okay.
Because I can tell people and show people like what I can do.
Yeah.
And inspire young girls,
Yes.
young female athletes
Okay.
who are out there
Okay.
who want to be like me.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, people have been seeing you on the screens, and just on in a preview, where did Joan grew? Tell us about your background. Where have you been, and what is the story beyond this great personality here tonight?
First, I grew up in Kipkabus.
Mm-hmm.
It's in Uasin Gishu County, and I went to school in a flax boarding primary school.
Okay.
And growing up was really tough. It was really challenging, because I'm the firstborn in a family of 5, and my parents were not stable enough to just provide the basic needs.
Okay.
So we had to work in the farms sometimes, or clean people's clothes, and that was my childhood. And high school, I went to KECHEI, but due to lack of school fees, I couldn't finish, so I had to finish in a school, my Form 4 in a village school. It's called Chesogor Secondary School. So that is part of me growing up. It was just in the village, just going firewood, like just village life, you know. And that's how I started my running career, because I started in primary school, early in primary. And yeah, so it was not easy growing up. It was really tough.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, talking about going through challenges at your younger age, what is it that can you say that is what gave you the resilience? Did you get the push from back in your days?
Most of the time, I'm so happy that what I went through as when I was growing up, because it made me who I am today.
Okay.
I'm very strong. I'm very focused, because there's nothing that I've not seen. Like, I have been through a lot, like being a young girl in the village first, and athletics, for instance, is male dominated, and trying to run and people making fun of you. So I had to run very early in the morning at 5 without kids, you know, like, and taking care of my other siblings, working hard to help them out, has really made me more of a deputy parent. But I'm really excited because I've made it.
Okay.
Yeah.
At what point did you thought of running as was it out of passion? What is it that pushed you, and at how old were you when you chose to start running, or how did it come about?
My mom was an athlete back in the 80s, and she used to run 800 meters. If I could remember, she was called Flash. But by then, women athletes were not given opportunity to travel outside the country and represent the country. So she had to be married off and just be a mom.
Okay.
And I was really inspired by, there was this scholarships program, and given that when I was in KECHEI by then, I used to run anyway in primary school, but we were forced to run.
Okay.
But when I went to high school is when I realized that there's opportunities after school. You can get scholarship. So at first, I was just training. We were training in school, and I became one of the best. Me and one of my friends called Wieselin. So I was really inspired by her, and she was in a program in St. Patrick's High School by Brother Con. So she was sponsored, but I couldn't afford to go to the camp because by then I was not the best. So I could use their program while we are in school. That was when I was in high school. I was 15 years old. And that's how I started my running career. Then after high school is when now I wanted, my dreams was to be in America. I wanted to live American dreams. Okay. So I had to go to camp after high school to just get and fly out of the country and further my education, because I wanted to be an IT student. So I went to Kaptagat, and there was a camp, and it was very, I would say it was very expensive. They paid 10,000 shillings, but since I could not afford, I had to go to a place that I could just rent my own house, which was 250 shillings in job center in Kaptagat. And it was very hard for me to raise 250 for rent a whole month. So I had to look for a partner to stay with her, and we would share the rent, 125. Yes. So I continued with my running career, and I got a full scholarship at Texas Tech University back then. So they needed like $1,000, but my family could not afford. So I had to go back to the drawing board. I was very sad, I remember the moment, but I didn't give up with my running career, so I just continued with my running, and then there was cross country in the normal Kenyan races that organize cross country, and that's how I was spotted by an agent, and I traveled to Spain after getting visas and making my own passport, because I remember my first race I won 5,000 shillings. That was so amazing, like from 250 rent and winning 5,000, like we really celebrated that day.
What kind of a race was it?
It was a cross country in KECHEI in 2010, towards the end of 2010 November. Yes.
Okay. What was the title of the race, if you can remember?
It was called KECHEI Cross Country.
Okay.
Yes, and I was
position 1.
I was first place, and I made 5,000 bob. It was a lot.
That was exciting.
Yes, it was exciting for me, and now it gives me more motivation to work hard and make my own passport, and then that's how I got spotted by an agent in Spain, and that is the first country that I traveled. Okay. Yes.
Now, was there anybody that you're looking up to? Where were you driving your inspiration as far as athletic was concerned?
But then we had female athletes who are really running so well, and even from the other generation, like older generations. So we had like Tekla Lorupe, there was Lorna Kiplagat, and yeah, there was Vivian Cheriot going to Olympics in Sydney in 2000 and winning a medal when she was a junior. So it was so inspiring that you could see just women in the sport, like being winning and being stable. So I was dreaming to be like them.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now going to Spain. That was your first time to fly out of the country, and also having a new environment in Spain. You were going. That was a study visa.
No, that was I was going to race.
Okay.
Yes. So that was my first race. I was invited to go there and run.
Okay.
So first, to me, I was so nervous. I was so excited, and I didn't know what to do. I remember so well that night when I was traveling, my whole village could just literally call me, because I was the first also person in my village to take a flight, to board a plane to Spain, and also there was no other athlete by then.
Okay.
So it was so exciting. I had these mixed feelings, but I was also very curious, because I wanted to know what is happening, how is the other part of the world.
Okay.
Then I arrived Spain, and I remember I could do my training and walk along the streets of Valencia in the park. It was super nice. I was just, I was so happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how's your performance? That is, there's a young girl from the village out of the country, and now this is your race out. This is the first race out of Kenya. How was it?
My first performance was very disappointing because I had no experience. I was very young. I was running. I think I was just running 1,500 meters. So I was told it's a 10-kilometer race, but I arrived, it was just a half marathon. So I had to run half marathon, and I had not trained for.
That's 21 kilometers.
Yes. So I remember I was second in the race. No, I was third. I was third in the race I was invited to.
Okay, okay.
But I made $500. Oh my God, that was so huge. Like I felt like, oh my God, I just don't want to run again, because I was more of not an athlete but just a tourist by then.
Okay.
So I was really excited, showing to my friends, and so happy. So it was a bit disappointing, but I was satisfied because I was seeing the other, new places, lights in the street. Remember, just straight from the village to Valencia. You can't believe it.
Now, what is it that kept you going? Because we see young athletes going out of the country, making some dollars, and then when they come back, they lose the focus. But what is it that has kept you on track, and also how has it been in sports?
What has kept me in sport is that the fact that I could change my family, the lifestyle. I could be now, as I tell you, I'm the firstborn, so I'm like the deputy parent.
Deputy parent.
I helped my mom. I paid my sister's school fees, and I could see them change their lives by just education, not going to universities, like achieving what I didn't achieve. So that was, it made me like, if I can still do more. I can do more of this. And it has really kept me going, because I'm the first person in my village to travel. I'm the first woman. There's many girls looking up to me.
Okay.
And I had the pressure of now, it's not now about only my family. It's now about my community.
Okay.
It's about people around me. Started supporting young girls. So I am their role model.
Okay.
So I have to keep going.
Okay.
I have to work hard.
Now, looking back years when you started, and the current generation girl, there are some who are facing a lot of challenges. What do you think is it that deters them from achieving and becoming somebody like you?
I would say mostly there was challenges even before. It's just that I think our parents were more strict on some things, on how we could just, because if you talk of the challenges they are facing as young girls, first is who are they handling them when they are in these camps, which comes to coaches. Who are they associating with? Who are their friends? What are they focused? So I think there have been lots of challenges since, but for now, it's just, I just hope that, because even now there's more challenges that is, and I just hope that like they would just continue with their focus and just continue doing what they are doing, and everything will be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in brief, what are some of your achievements in some of the races, big races that you've achieved so far?
I have won Seoul Marathon. That was like my biggest achievement. I have won Boston Half Marathon. I've won Boston 10 kilometers. I have won in Berlin. I have won in Paris Half Marathon. I have won in most of, I could remember, I've won a couple of races, but I would say I would treasure races like London Marathon. I've raced in London. I was 5th in London, and it was so amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, and the recent one is being a silver medal in the European Championship.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's quite inspiring, because I would wish to ask you, what is it that makes you so humble? Because I know of people who here, if they could have such titles, they could not even be speaking to me. What is it that makes you so humble?
It's where we train. It's our environment, because athletes' life is very simple life. You just, the people we run into, and you just have to be humble, you know, like.
Okay. Okay. Now, before we now go to transition out and talk about now business, because you've given us a very clear, let me just acknowledge some friends who are coming live. Emmanuel Kiprimo, Cheryl Misoy, and are watching. Ghislaine Cheriesi saying, getting us louder and clear. We have Kale Nation saying, keep moving. Eric Otutu is watching. We have We Are Unstoppable also is watching, and many, many, many others. Please tell us where you're watching. We have Amazon Global Limited, keep inspiring the young generation. Good job. We also have Inspector Chepkwony. I love this show. This is indeed mentoring the young athletes, as well as somewhere dreaming to give out to the society. I continue clapping for you. God bless you. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep sharing where you're watching. BK Lele is following Edward Kibet. I remember the Chekwelele cross country. It was in 12th November 2011. Okay,
yes.
This is nice. We have also Perez Chepchirchir is watching. We have Delight Funeral watching. Vivian Cherop saying that good job. Albert Kimayo, my neighbor. Tell us where you're watching us tonight so that we keep this conversation going. Also, proud of you, Joan. Keep inspiring. Watching from Kaptagat. She's a gem. This is Betwell Ngetich. I love her humility and community outreach. Ladies and gentlemen, there are many. Will still be interacting with you. If you have a question to our guest tonight, make sure that you share on the comment section so that she'll be in a position to talk about now KECHEI Center. A lot of athletes are coming and we've had issues. We see somebody after racing close to a quarter part of his or her life, 10 years later, they're either struggling with paying bills, they're struggling with even some in abject poverty. How did you choose to invest in this hospitality industry, and why KECHEI? Tell us about KECHEI.
So I would just tell you that now that I'm traveling a lot, just from my story now, I'm going to races, I'm going to London. So where we stay, we at least normally are booked in hotels, like very luxurious hotels. When you go to Boston, like it costs more than $1,000 a night. So then in those, one time I was sleeping and I would just see how they build, and I was like, I want to be here one day. I was dreaming to at least be in the hospitality industry.
Okay.
The other thing that made me build KECHEI is on interviews after races, most people would ask me, so where are you training? How are you, where do you live? Why is Kenya good for training? So I was like, okay, welcome to Iten. Iten is the best place to train. And they're like, where can I stay when I'm in Iten? So then I tell myself, athletics career will not last me. I don't know when it will end. So I need to plan myself, because with our career, it doesn't give you a signal that you can be injured and then you're not running again. So it has it has a very good side of the success. It comes very good and it's very sweet and lump sum a lot of money. But I thought about, what about when I retire? What will happen to me? I am used to traveling. I am used to nice things. I want to do something in Iten. And I want to host my guests.
Okay.
So that is how KECHEI Center was born.
Okay.
So I started just from very simple structure, and to be honest, it has been, I would say it's one of the best training center in Iten. It's called KECHEI Center, and it's the Champions Hub. We have all the champions, many, not only the international athletes also, but also we have local athletes who are paid by their agents to stay there. Because also growing up as an athlete, I lived in a house that was not in a very conducive. It was 250 bob, I can tell you this. And I said, I can talk to these brands, I can talk to their agents so that these athletes have very conducive environment where they can just eat and just sleep and just train again with very peaceful place. And that is how I built KECHEI Center.
Okay. Why the name KECHEI? KECHEI
is my daughter's name. Okay. My daughter is 9 years old. She's called Ariana KECHEI. And KECHEI is Kalenjin. It means a star.
Okay.
So that is why it's called KECHEI. I decided to call it after my daughter.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, this is a business that you're running. You have a lot of activities. How do you manage this enterprise, running all these activities? There is also part of training that you're still doing, and also traveling a lot. How do you manage this particular business?
At KECHEI Center, everything is well managed, because I have a team that is behind me, that helps me out. But what is so inspiring also is that because I do hospitality, and we have most of my, I would say, room service is the women from the local community who I trained, I trained and just empower them by just giving them a job at KECHEI Center. And they are really working so well. And I have a manager, I have just a whole team behind KECHEI Center that is, so that it makes easier for me.
Okay.
Yes.
What do you think are some of the challenges that you encounter in running such a business?
First, it's because I feature more on an international market. There's seasons that we don't have clients, because when it's racing time, they come for 3 months. So you have to, there's time that they don't come. So that is the biggest challenge. Another challenge is managing and setting up, like, before I put in the systems, it was very hard because I was doing things manually. So it was very hard. And but so far so good. It has been, there's ups and downs, of course. We have, especially when you put up the first day, you don't get 100% profit. So at the first year, we had to really put in all the work. I had to be there for my business to grow myself, because also when you're there, it's better you running it, because someone else will not do the way you are. So I was really there, and it was really challenging. It was hard for me because I was a bit informed, but I had to have a bit of professionals. It's also not easy to deal with workers. It's very employees, I would say. So that was something that was challenging to me, but now it's well managed.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now, do you think you are doing it at the right time? Or given chance, wishing like 5 years back, what is it that you could have done differently in business?
5 years back, I would have done amazing, because I think there was a point I didn't think of planning myself well, especially financially. So if I was to be given a chance 5 years back, I would be having a couple of KECHEI in the whole country.
Okay. Now, talking to your fellow athletes and people in your industry, because we've seen them making the wrong choices when it comes to investment. You see, like, somebody comes after winning a particular marathon or any other kind of race, they come back and probably you find that somebody splashes money all over buying vehicles and things that are considered liabilities and not investments. Now you came back and invested in this particular, because this is going to outlive your legacy. It's going to go a long way. Even when you retire, this is something that it goes down to your legacy. Now, to these young and also upcoming athletes and also fellow athletes, what do you think are some of the lessons that they need to learn from investment?
First, I would say athletics is not a long-term career. So first, every coin that you get, you have to know where it goes. You have also to have financial literacy. You need to know the proper kind of investment you're doing, because most of our young athletes, even they would just buy land. Just buy land wherever without seeing either the resale value or the return. Some of the investment choices that some of them do is they will not even get return even when they are dead, you know. So I think also planning and just getting financial advice, it's very important, so that you know where to invest and what kind of investment to put in, because athletics can just end anytime. You really need to use your platform. You really need to use your network to plan yourself and just to invest.
Okay. Now, we've talked about financial literacy, because we have financial literacy, we talk about learning. Learning is a continuous process. You keep learning. And I believe also you're somebody who likes learning and also who likes widening your knowledge. But now, do you think athletes are ready to learn?
I think nowadays they are they are more flexible because of what is happening in the world, and also examples that have been set by our champions. Like Lorna Kiplagat, for instance, you would see that they have established themselves, and also they are athletes from back in the days that they had a lot of money and they have been bankrupt and they are being addicted they are taking alcohol and they're in the village. So I think now that they have seen what is happening, they have learned something from us who are still keep on inspiring them, and also from those who didn't invest.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, to KECHEI, what do you think is the future of KECHEI?
I think KECHEI in the future will be the talk of the town. I think it's growing because it's expanding, because we have a very small space, but we're expanding to have a gym. We wanted to make it to be a center where you can just have all the facilities. So I think we'll have more KECHEI center. I don't know, maybe in Iten or even in Eldoret, because there's a lot of demand. There's a huge gap. Especially, it doesn't matter where you invest. In Iten, for instance, there's a very huge gap about, especially sports tourism, what I do. We have a lot of demand of tours and travel companies. There's a huge gap. If you would not say that there's nothing you could do, there's a lot of things to be done. Like even apparel, sports apparel, selling sports apparel. We are hoping that one day we'll have an affordable sports apparel for KECHEI. And also maybe a tour and travel company, because after hosting guests, they don't even only want to see Iten just to train, but also they want to know what is in Elgeyo Marakwet. So that it's also another business opportunity to show them about Rimoi, just the waterfall, like just to see our culture.
Okay.
So there's more to do in Iten, and there's more to do coming up for KECHEI Center.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, before we take a very short break, I think I can just go through some 1, 2, 3 here. Somebody here, I'd seen somebody here, Albert Kimayo. I think I had to read this. I know Joan very well. She's a good role model. She persisted all the challenges that some of us couldn't keep going. And so also we have Jared Kimeto, great show, kudos. And also we have Geoffrey Kamoror watching, very well composed. Keep going. Joan, Stephen Omulama, this is a great legend. Joan, keep the best version of yourself each and every day. You are a great inspiration, and we celebrate you, champion. These are quite a number of comments that are coming very fast and furious. And John, talk about now, before you take a short break, you have dual citizenship. Why are you running for Kenya? Are you running for a different country?
That's always the obvious question I'm being asked. But you could see, like, we are many in Kenya, so there's no offense.
Okay.
If we try to look for greener pastures.
Okay.
So I ran for Romania. I have dual citizenship, so I'm Kenyan, Romanian, but I'm well known of being Romanian. And I'm really proud, and Romania gave me a lot of opportunities. As I said, when I was young, I was so curious, and I wanted to have more opportunities. There's more that Romania gives me, and I'm so proud. I was in the Olympics in Paris. I didn't manage to finish because I was injured, but that's one of the opportunities that I got from Romania.
Okay.
Yes.
Where do you find the imbalance between Kenya and other countries? Because we see a lot of athletes choosing other countries and not Kenya. Do you think we have a lot of challenges when it comes to considering and also giving you a good environment for training and also out of opportunities outside? What do you think is the gap?
Kenya is good. It's the best place. We have the best athletes, and I would not even trash Kenya because it's one of the best. You would see even from the recent Olympics. There's just some things that just need to be done. Like if you know Iten, there's like Kamarin Stadium, and it's not in a good condition since, and it's a shame that a county that produce high-profile athletes, champions, cannot even have a track. So those are some of the opportunities I get when I'm in Romania. They have really great sports facilities, also like recovery center. So we have no recovery center or a place where you can just, the athletes can just go and stay in camp and just run. They have to rent a house or make food for themselves. So if you could see, there's more opportunities that Romania is giving me, and you can compare between them, because like now I am injured. I have to fly to Romania next week just to get proper treatment. So also there's a challenge of our physios and like professional medical doctors, because there's also a challenge in athletics. You can be injured for a while, and we have no really professionals who can you have to fly out. Most of the athletes have to fly out to Europe or to other countries to get treated. So that is the only gap, but aside, Kenya is the best place to train. And
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, remember this is the CEO show, and we're coming live to you on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Our guest tonight is Joan Chelimo, who is the founder and the CEO of KECHEI Center, located in Iten. This is a place whereby you can have ambience, you can have good food, and definitely you have accommodation, right?
Yes.
Okay, you can have a place to spend a night, and the best of the best places to enjoy the high altitude. We are coming to you shortly after this particular break. Please ensure that you keep your comments coming and also your questions coming so that our guest tonight can be in a position to answer. Talk about women, talk about sports, and also investment. And after this break, we'll also be looking into a very emotive issue, talk of gender-based violence, which she plays a critical role in talking to women and also to see how we can curb this menace. We'll be back shortly after this break.
Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the CEO Show. Remember, we are coming to you live on YouTube, Facebook, and also TikTok. Remember to share this conversation, and also on YouTube, subscribe to that particular channel so that you will be posted every time we have this show. Just to go directly, remember our guest tonight is Joan Chelimo, who is the founder and the CEO of KECHEI Center. Just to go back to some of your questions, we have Chemochie who is saying, say hi to my boys. I almost said boys. Say hi to my boss. I work with her. She's down to heart. God bless you, boss. Also, we have Estella who is saying, kudos, Joan. Keep up the good work. Joan Chelimo, keep up the great work. Dan, good work, Joan. You inspire many of us. This is Kipto Dan. Wilfred Kimaya, I know the resilience. Our vision is very much in line with what it takes to make Iten the destination that it is. We also have somebody who is asking about GBV. I think we'll be going to that and many others. Keep your questions coming and also your comments, and definitely where you're watching us from. Now, John, talk about now the T-Rops Angels. You part of the co-founders, and also you actively involved in running this. But is it a foundation? Tell us about T-Rops Angels Foundation.
T-Rops Angels is I'd say it's a foundation NGO that we formed after the brutal murder of Agnes T-Rops. She was murdered found dead in her house in 2021. So that was a wake-up call for all of us, and we decided, me and my co-founder Viola Lagat, shout out to her, we decided to form T-Rops Angels, just to educate our young girls on just everything matters GBV, and also the community. And it was a very sad moment for us first, because it was we felt like something has been dropped from us. We lost someone just by someone she trusted, because she trusted her partner more. So we were like, let us just come have a conversation, make them speak up, just create a platform for them where they can just feel free. They can come for counseling and just to eradicate gender-based violence. Yeah, that's why T-Rops Angels was formed.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, we talk about, we've had issues with Agnes. We had another issue with Mude, who was strangled to death by the partner. And also, the other day we had issues with Rebecca Cheptingei. Now, what do you think are some of the reasons that makes this issue come to be, and especially with athletes?
It is sad that after we started T-Rops Angels, there's also rise in female athletes being also murdered by their partners. And one of the things that it's making athletes, especially female, more vulnerable is I think the traditional norms, because most of them are becoming more independent. They are going against the gender roles. So they are becoming more independent. They are becoming, they want to own properties, and it's changing everything where most of their partners, they don't like it. And it comes where there's these property issues where when they are married or when they are young, and then after, when they are 20s, they want to leave the state, but when they start traveling and seeing what is outside abroad, they want to leave the marriages, and that is where the main problem is. It's exploitation also from the people around them, from either the coaches or physiotherapists and their partners.
Okay.
So I think those are some of the challenges. And also, I think the stigma from when the fear of speaking up. So it gives the abusers, it gives them like some sort of power, because when they're champions, they're female athletes who are champions, they are going through abuse and they cannot come out because they fear of stigma. Don't forget that our society tend to judge on women. If there's divorce in a marriage, they tend to blame the woman. So there's also that stigma that they are champions, and also their careers, they fear of if their partner helped them or their coach, so they don't want to get out because maybe the coach bettered her life or they'll lose their careers. So I think those are some of the challenges that these athletes are facing.
Okay. Now, what are some of the initiatives that you guys have been doing to mitigate this challenge that you are facing?
We do education. We do a lot of education. We go to camps. We visit camps. We do school visits, because, as I said, most of the things are cultural. And so we started with the younger generation. So we go to schools, and in schools we have this Don't Touch program, which was started by Madam Viola Barsolai, and it's really nice because we teach the young boys and girls. We don't need to teach them about gender-based violence because it's a very critical topic. We can't teach about mothers. We are also very keen on what we tell the young boys on some things like harassment, self-care, you know, like consent, such of the things, hygiene. So we also go to churches because we feel like there's a lot of impact from church, and most of the youth go to church. We offer counseling to survivors. We offer we have a team of counselors from MTRH. We have also volunteers who help us. So we have a counseling session. And we are hoping in the future to offer shelter, because also there's another challenge of we don't have we don't have safe homes. So after we rescue them and give them counseling, we have no place to put the survivors, so that they can just continue their training and their life going on.
Okay.
So those are some of the challenges now, but we are hoping that in the future we'll just have a shelter, not even only for the athletes, also for the community. I think I don't know if there's a shelter in Kenya. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've not done a research, but for athletes, at least we need a safe house.
Okay. Now, because people listening to this, there are some who even are astonished or shocked that does GBV exist. But just reading from some statistics, that is the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics report last year, that is 2023, we find out that at least close to 35% of children experience GBV, that is gender-based violence, between the age of 13 and 15. But there are some people who don't believe. After you've started Tirops Angels NGO and running to this, what is the reality on the ground for that matter?
I can tell you this, GBV is real. And it exists. And you cannot imagine how many kids, young girls, young boys are defiled. These are very high rates, and by their immediate people, by their family, even members. And most of them are asked to keep silent because it's a family and the families will talk. So after starting up Tirop Angels is when they start coming out, because they didn't know where to report. And most of the cases, most of them are from poor backgrounds, so they can't even afford to go to police. So when we tell them about Tirop Angels and we have, we can help them out, we can hold the perpetrators accountable, is when now this high rise is starting to, we have, if you
Speak
see,
out.
yes, they are starting to speak out. They visit our office. Our office is open like from Monday to Saturday.
Okay.
There's a lot of people coming, just victims from the athletics community and also from just the community.
Okay.
Yes.
And talking now about the society and the community at large, what is their perception to this? Because when somebody is stigmatized, it means that they can't speak out. And speaking to young girls and even boys, there are some who have been going through this from even close family members, but they have the challenge of speaking out. Do you think it is a societal issue, or the society stigmatizes these victims, or what do you think? What is it that contributes to this?
First, I think it's cultural, it's a societal issue, and most of them don't speak up because of fear, of there's no policies, and you could see someone would just not say whatever they are going through because there's a case where nobody would be held accountable by either the law will not be taken or enforcement from police. So they would see that there's no need for them to speak up.
Okay.
For the athletes, for instance, young girls, they would not speak up because most of them are being manipulated by their partners or either their coaches or people around them. So they feel like they don't want to speak up. There's a lot of manipulation going on, or maybe there's some being taken advantage of, because most of them maybe they are given a shoe so that in exchange of connecting them with agents, because don't forget also as an athlete, when you run, you need a coach, you need an agent, you need a physiotherapist, you need a whole lot of people around you so that you make it you need a whole team actually. So most of them, and also education, they don't know their rights. So when we go out as top angels, we try to tell men, to tell them what is their rights. Also, from the cultural part, most of the men, we found out that most men are going through a lot also because they don't speak up. Because our cultures tells a man that you are a man, because there's those stages of life, and you're a man, and you cannot say that nilichapwa na bibi, for instance, and you're a man, because also they will not, maybe your friends will just make fun of you, you know. So I think it's societal. I think most of our victims, people make fun of them when someone is beating up a neighbor, they would make fun of them, like, oh, we alichapa bibi yake, you know, and it's a source of entertainment. It's like they like it. So it's something that everybody needs to come up, and we are doing education just not only from the athletes also, but families. We are going to schools, we are going to churches. It's a whole community that we need to educate, that touching a woman is wrong and doing this it's wrong. So it's a whole topic that it's so cultural, and everybody just needs to raise their voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, your colleague, and may her soul rest in peace, talk about Rebecca KECHEI. This is a lady who was so ambitious, and her future was full of life. And you participated in the Paris marathon some months ago. I believe you interacted with her, right?
I met Rebecca at the Olympics. First, we could meet in training because she was training in Iten, and I was with her at the Paris Olympics. It is sad that we lost her, because you could see she was very determined. I can tell you, to be in Olympics, you have to be very hardworking. I remember when we were just jogging before the race, everybody was kind of nervous, because before you start the race, we was nervous, and we're just saying, it will be okay, we'll just be done with this. And so those are some of the chats we had. And later we could just talk about our families, we could just talk about just the general talks, but I could not see any sign of any abuse. I regret that, like, I didn't know whatever was happening in her life. But it is very sad that some people out there can just decide to take away lives. You work so hard, she worked very hard to be in Olympics, to earn what she had. She was a mom, and just someone who was full of himself decided just to take away, just to do whatever he did that was so inhuman. I was like, where is humanity? So it is very sad that we lost her, and I hope that it will not happen again to any other person. I don't even wish it to happen to anyone. And you could, it's not even encouraging, because Rebecca was not only, you could see girls from, I went to her home just the other day, and she was the breadwinner. Everybody was looking up to her, not only even her family, but also girls from her village. And it is sad that her life was just cut short.
Okay. Now, also on a lighter note, now, do you think there are some red flags that people need to observe? Because sometimes you're just with somebody, then the next minute she's normal, or you find that they've been victims of GBVs. Do you think there are some of the red flags that somebody can see, and then, because I believe also at some point you wish that you could have done something, or you wish that you could have read these out and probably even come to her rescue. Do you think there are some of the red flags that people can look at and see that somebody is suffering from this?
I would say people process things differently, and mostly with women, we have sort of hope when you have a narcissist or an abuser. And abusers are more, they know how to control. But I would just want to say, there's this, you could have these warnings, these red flags. Murder don't just happen in one single day. There was a lot of red flags. And from the first sign of just someone starting to threaten you, because it starts by a threat. It even starts by how someone looks at you, and then how hit you the second time, and then starting by even a threat, or being too possessive. So if you have someone who is just following you up and down, because you could find these young girls, especially, at least the husbands are with them all the time. So that you could not have just your own freedom. I think those are some of the red flags that girls should know, especially my fellow women athletes. And control. There's a lot of control from finance, because you'd find most of the properties are owned also by the husbands, and it's not right that you run, you sweat, and you have your property on someone else's name. When I go out there, I tell people, look, I own KECHEI Center myself, and you can be like me. And these marriages should not be based on whatever you have. It should be based on love. And that is where you draw the line, so that when you are tired, you can leave at any point. So I believe from what is happening, and with more counseling and with more awareness that we do, and more education, they'll start seeing what some red flags. And I don't encourage people. Marriage is beautiful. Marriage is really nice. I am married myself, and it's so beautiful. But there is some point where you need to think about yourself and also your life and whatever you have worked hard for. Okay,
just to dig into the same, where is the position of the spouse in, for example, now to draw the line between support and supporting your investment? Where do you think you can draw this line?
I think to have a spouse is one of the best things, and you have really good spouses out there who can just, because for a life of an athlete, you need someone by your side who would just wake you up in the morning, also follow you up in training, and ensure that you don't come back and cook and clean and do things, and also like trying to manage whatever, if it's farm life or where. So that is part of the things your spouse can help you out. And I would encourage also the girls to have their spouses who are also independent and also educated and independent in terms of their finance, so that it doesn't feel like you came into the marriage or the relationship because of the wife, of the wife's money. So it is always sweet when you do 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that is where the line should be drawn. 50-50 is the best, so that you don't feel, I mean, we are women, so we would feel nice if we are treated good.
Okay.
Not, I would feel bad if I be the one paying all the bills.
Okay.
So also you need to draw the line. 50-50 is always like way to go.
Okay. And do you think we have a reverse of this particular problem, whereby men will feel vindicated by their spouses who are women?
Yes, I feel so. I feel mostly the independent women, they tend to, I mean, people are different, and I would not want to judge anyone, but there's always a reverse of it. There's mostly when the woman earns more money, the man feel a bit intimidated, or the other way. But also always finance should just not say about the marriage. It should be based on love, based on the chemistry and the connection, not about money.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, as we wind up with this particular issue, because all these issues, it seems it zeroes down to investment, it zeroes down to finances and push and pull with resources. That is as far as money is concerned. How can you advise these women and also reverse men when it comes to finances and relationship?
Everybody should just work hard first. There are lazy men out there, allow me to say this, that they just want money from a girl who was winning New York Marathon. So first, everybody should work hard and earn their money, so that when it comes to the relationship, everything will be smooth to run.
Okay.
So that is just, everybody should just be independent. Women should just have also lawyers. Everybody should just have their own lawyer and just have whatever it's rightfully yours, you have it on your name. Yes.
Okay. Now, on another level, we've had issues with athletes who come back, instead of investing, they become victims of scammers and people being swindled. A good number of athletes have been swindled. That is, they are victims of scammers and these deals that looks very lucrative, then tomorrow they lose money. What do you think? Is it something that needs to be spoken into? And have you ever been a victim?
A good news is I've never been a victim, and I will never be a victim. Those people know who to call, because athletes are being taken advantage of even in that way, because by even their fellow athletes, because they are retired athletes, they are used to having a lot of money, and then now that their career ended without them planning, they decide to take money away from the other athletes. I just want to say it's better to believe in banks, because if you have your money, just have it in a bank. If you want to buy properties, you should just look at the correct way, involve the correct people, and don't ask for advice for if someone is not a professional. Look for a financial advisor. I won 50,000 my first, and I could sleep at night because that was too much. I had to look for a financial advisor. So as little as there's no little money, just ask for advice and know who you're asking, a professional. Yeah.
Okay. Now going to the government now, do you think the government has played its role as far as GBV is concerned, and as far as also advisory and to athletes and whatever? Do you think the government has come in to, now forgetting about the infrastructural support and the environment, to this athlete as a person? Do you think the government has done enough?
To be honest, the government has failed. The system has failed. And if you see the case of Rebecca, she spoke up, she reported the case. But nothing happened since February until she was burned alive. It means someone was sleeping on their job. So it has failed. You can report your case and nothing will happen. I think there should be more enforcement of policies. I think also the government should just build safe houses now, not only for female athletes, but you could see like the quarry how many women fought, more women, how many women were murdered. Like there's a lot of increase in femicide. So they should be a safe house. Sports organization, they should come in, they should create a reporting mechanism that are confidential. Because especially now to our champions, to our female athletes, there should be a reporting mechanism that is very confidential, that I can report to the sports organization and everything is acted on swift and very fast manner. Because you see, the more things that are dragging, the more harm we have on our side. So I think it's a whole, the government, also the sports organization should just come up and implement policies and just see how to safeguard these athletes, and not only athletes but also our women.
Okay. Now also on the flip side, talking about the justice system, because at some point we feel that the victims, after some times they are outside, they are roaming after committing such heinous acts. Do you think we have a broken system as far as justice is concerned?
The judicial system, to be honest, it's and that's why we keep on having these perpetrators, because they would see someone murdered and they are walking on the street. So it kind of encourages. But if they were burnt alive, I'm very sure they will have no case. So I hope that there will be some change also in the judicial system, because just at least to be fair, especially to such cases of GBV.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, given a chance tonight, you meet now the probably now let's talk about, for example, if you meet tonight with the CS for sports, that is Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen. What is this thing that you can share with him?
First, I would request Kipchumba Murkomen to help us with the Cameroon Stadium in Iten. And I would just request for athletes to be, more female athletes to be protected, just to some policies that will guard female athletes, so that there is no rise in GBV, because from all the years they've been a rise in gender-based violence, especially in his own county in Iten. I would just love if he would just encourage more athletes to invest more in Iten, because most of the people outside Kenya knows Iten more than even the city, Eldoret. So to encourage investors to come to Iten, so that we can have more sports facilities, we can have more sports academies. In that way, even programs in schools, so that we could have more talents. That's how we will have now our nurturing our talents, because Elgeyo Marakwet is rich in talents, and even other people from the communities. If there's a sports academy from the government in Iten that nurtures young talents for either scholarships, that would be a great idea. Okay.
Now, before you also give us your parting shot, because I see our time is much spent, I just read, we have Mark Monko here who is saying, through T-Ropes Foundation, through T-Ropes, you can possibly teach young upcoming athletes about financial literacy, investment, building meaningful relationship, and I think that is something that also you're doing, and also you can do more of this, and basically about advisory to the young and upcoming athletes. John, what do you think, or share your parting shot for tonight, investment and also women in sports?
I would just say, when you run athletics, it's not a career that you run it for long. So take care of your finances, invest properly. Take care also of your families. And for the young upcoming athletes, especially women, be safe. We have T-Rope Angels. In case of any, you can report to us in case you're feeling unsafe. We have created a safe space for you. And yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
At some point, do you think you'll retire in sports? And what is it that will inform that?
I think I'll retire. I don't want to say when, but I have planned already from my retirement from KECHEI Center and other more investment that I'll be doing. But yeah, it reach a point that I will retire, not so long, but I will retire because I'm more into business now than.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Joan, for honoring our invite and also being part of the CEO show. I think the comments that are coming in, we'll find time and also go through them and also respond. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, we will ask you to share your comments. Even after the show, our guest tonight will be in a position to respond and also to get your feedback. And this is a show that always comes to you to inspire, be insightful, and also, most importantly, educate on financial literacy, on business growth, and also making the right decision as far as any business is concerned. This has been the 17th episode, and thanks to you for always supporting this particular show. We are looking forward to always interact with you every Tuesday from 7:30 to 9. And also next week, we are going to be here, same time, same place, with another guest. Very insightful and very inspirational. Until next time, I've been your host, Dan. God.
Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories, value markets, and financial education. This is the CEO Show. Hosted by Dan. Business Minds, pioneering and inspiring entrepreneurs. Creative talks, CEO insights, success stories.